Yo, what is up, guys? Earl DFS coming back with another NHL video, and today we got a little three-game slate. Um, we had that big 11-game slate yesterday, and now we have a three-game slate today. First, let's go over and we'll take a look at the top lineup from yesterday's mini-max. Mike 3333. Looks like it's 112th entry. So he was an MMEer. Topped it off, winning the $1,000 with Leon Draisaitl, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and Yamamoto. So an Edmonton 2-stack with Stahl, Fiala, Price, so a Colorado power play stack, I believe. Connor Murphy and Darnell Nurse, and then one of the highest scoring goalies on the night, Igor Shesterkin. So a pretty nice lineup compared to what I last night was not that great of a night for me. My best lineup was Leon Draisaitl with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, three-man power play stack with Chassian, with Jonathan Towes, Patrick Kane, and then Kyle Connor. Oh, that was interesting last night. One of my highest exposed teams was the St. Louis Blues, and I gotta find who it was. I had him in one of my lineups. It was. It was Jay Barrowmeister, defenseman from the St. Louis Blues. He it says severed a cardiac episode during Tuesday's game, and they stopped the game midway through the first period. So if you notice that a ton of your lineups had 48 minutes left, probably you had one player from that game, and then all of a sudden went down to 0. They postponed that game, so if you had Anaheim stacks or St. Louis stacks, they didn't work out. I think that was my worst lineup. Yeah, Ryan O'Reilly, Patrick Shen, Schwartz, Jake Allen got nada. So, but oh well, that was last night. The best we can do is take this and put it behind us, learn from our mistakes, and head on to this next slate here, where we have 3 games. So should be a little bit more easy to figure out where the scoring is going to come from and all that. So first game on the slate, Montreal Canadiens, Boston Bruins, 2.23 for the Canadiens, 3.27 for the Bruins. Carey Price, Tuukka Rask, and looks like the prices are all messed up here. So we're actually going to do something here. We're going to go to Awesome because all the prices are all messed up there. So we're going to just go to their lineup builder. Tools, lineup builder, NHL. Here we go. Boston Bruins, Montreal Canadiens. 3.3 for the Bruins, 2.3 for the Canadiens. Carey Price, Tuukka Rask. And we're going to start on the Montreal side. For defensemen, I kind of like Petrie. But I wouldn't mind getting to other players if we have it in DraftKings prices. Petrie, 5,400. Scandella is at 2,500. Ben Sherratt's not a bad play either. Montreal, Boston is the 25th ranked versus opposing defensemen. So all these players do have a nice matchup tonight, but on the other side, Montreal's is 28th. So I'm definitely looking at Torrey Krug and Charlie McAvoy, some Chara, some John Moore. For actual lines, I like the top line here for Montreal. I'll probably be getting to around 5-ish% of them. Throw Petrie in there as well would be cool. But you already know what I'm going to say. I don't really need to go into high details. Boston won on a 3-game slate. We're playing them. On a 3-game slate, they are a scary-ass fade, so I am going to be getting to a lot of them. If I take a look at... There we go. If I take a look at my highest exposed players, Bergeron, Marchand, and Pastrnak are 3 of my top 5, or 3 of my top 4, and then Patrick Kane's number 5. So I'm going to be getting to plenty of Boston 1 today, and a little bit of Montreal 1, and maybe a little Montreal 2, or maybe just like Suzuki one-offs, or Suzuki with that top line, something along that line. But on to our second game of the slate. Calgary Flames, Los Angeles Kings, Jonathan Quick, David Rittich. And I kind of like the top lines for both these clubs. I'll be getting to more Calgary than I will LA. I kind of like David Rittich as well today. He's probably going to be my higher exposed goalies, but Tuukka Rask is going to be my highest exposed. But I like the power play correlations with both these top lines. You could throw defensemen in there, and I just like the correlation with top lines when they're all power play too. It does draw a lot more attention, but you want to get different. They're not too expensive. You can do a decent amount with them. We can try this. We have time. It's a 3-game slate. You can build a 3-man LA stack, throw in Tuukka Rask, along with a Bergeron and a Marchand, and still have decent money. Where you can throw in, let's see, you can throw in a Tanev, throw in a Scandella, and have $4,600 for. You can throw him in if you wanted to. Like you can do a decent amount with this that top line for LA with a Boston stack or with a Patrick Kane stack. So either way, I really like the top lines for both of these. I'll be getting to a little bit more than what I have right now for them. For LA, 5% is all I really have for LA right now. 7% for Montreal, Calgary, then Vancouver, and Chicago. That game takes up a chunk of my ownership. Then Boston's my top exposed. If we look at goalies, Tuukka Rask, then David Rittich, then Markstrom with then Chicago goalie Crawford and Quick, then Price. So that's my exposures at the moment. But that's about what I'm looking at for the second game. Matthew Tkachuk could be a nice little one-off. If you want TJ Brody and Stone, if you're playing that second line. But overall, I'm going to be getting to the top line, probably some Pathelin. That's about it for defenseman for Calgary, maybe Anderson. And then the top line for LA, and maybe some Doughty, Alec Martinez, and maybe a few shares of Walker. Other than that, I'm not overly excited with that game. This is my highest exposure game on the slate. Chicago Blackhawks, Vancouver Canucks, 2.9 for the Blackhawks, 3.5 for the Canucks. Corey Crawford, Jacob Markstrom, and I'm going to be getting to Patrick Kane as a one-off or as a mini stack with maybe Kirby Dach and Jonathan Towes. But overall, I'm going to get to more exposure to this Vancouver side here, especially with that second. They really switched up these lines here. I like them better on this side. Okay, they're priced correctly now. I'm going to be getting to a decent amount of this line right here, the Virtanen, Miller, Peterson line. I'll be getting to a little bit of this Eriksson, Horvat, and Pearson, but not an extreme amount compared to the second line. The second line is going to be my highest exposed one, along with this top line for Chicago. I'll be getting to some Quinn Hughes, some Edler, and Tanev along with Myers. So I'm going to be getting to plenty of these Vancouver defenders. They're very offensive minded, which I really like, and they got a nice matchup here against Chicago. For Chicago, getting that top line, maybe some Duncan Keith and some Bovequist. And Connor Murphy was one of the higher scoring defensemen last night, 15. So I might go back to him playing the hot hand. But overall, I'm going to be getting to a ton of Boston 1. Get to some Montreal. My top exposed goalie will be Tuukka Rask. I'll be getting to a little bit of this game with those top lines and maybe some Montreal 2. And we'll be getting to Chicago 1 and then the top 2 lines for Vancouver and then some defensemen from Vancouver, couple from Chicago. And I'm going to be looking at Krug, McAvoy, some more from Boston. But overall, short slate. I know it's a little bit of a shorter video as well. Actually, 12 minutes almost, so not as much. But that is going to do it for this video. I want to thank you guys for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe.